Oh, we need to change my bio later because now I have a my new job. But it's fine for now.
Yeah, I also noticed that. Anyway, so let's get started.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday, dear all. We are so excited to see you again. And welcome to EWB Thursday webinar series, where we bring professionals and educators together and have 1 hour time for sharing knowledge, for sharing trends in English language teaching, and also enhance teaching abilities and capabilities in Tajikistan. And today we are very excited, yes, to introduce once again Mr. Mitchell Bradford, who has been, yeah, quite active with English Without Borders, and he has, yeah, the most top record with English Without Borders by, yeah, doing several webinars in a row, which is really great. And we really appreciate that. And we hope that this fruitful collaboration will continue further. And of course, today's topic is super exciting. Uh, we all love teaching, but we also love teaching through games. And today, our speaker will tell about how we can bring games, yes, and ESL games and activities and make our classroom active, fun, and productive. So I'm very excited about that. And let me share some information about our speaker. Yeah, just to mention that we have our audience who are joining through Zoom and also through Facebook. So please join as soon as possible. And our speaker, Mr. Mitchell Bradford Jr., is an English instructor and teacher trainer who currently teaches EAP, English for Academic Purposes, at the University of Waikato Joint Institute at Hangzhou University in China, where he serves as a reading and writing course leader. But he just informed us that he's, yes, moving to a new job position. So let's hope that, yeah, we'll receive more information about that. And previously, he served as virtual educator at Taras Shevchenko National University in Kiev in Ukraine. Additionally, he has worked as transnational tertiary programs in China for several years, as well as taught in the US. In that capacity, he has worked with local teachers to introduce innovative teaching techniques and theories. He obtained his MA TESOL from the University of Nottingham, Ningbo, China, and is currently conducting doctoral studies in TESOL with University of St. Andrews, Scotland, with a focus on the challenges and coping strategies of EAP teachers at Sino-foreign tertiary programs, along with teacher training and development. His research has been related to EAP, AI, virtual education, and intercultural communication, for which he has published articles in both English and Spanish. And Mitchell has given teacher training workshops and presented research throughout much of the world, having presented in Cambodia, China, Thailand, and the US, as well as virtually for conferences in Qatar and Spain. So, dear all, let's give the floor to our speaker. And in the meantime, yes, please prepare your questions if you have any, yes, throughout the webinar, and you will have an opportunity to ask your questions during the Q&A session by the end of today's webinar. And let's start our investment webinar, where Mr. Mitchell will be sharing a wonderful experience of his by bringing so many insightful strategies and techniques on the topic he suggested for today's webinar. Okay, over to you, Mr. Mitchell.
Awesome. Thanks. Let me get set up. All right, great. Yeah, sweet. We are gonna have to make change of my bio a little bit because I did just recently finish one job and we'll be starting another one soon. And people introduce me. I'm like, oh no, don't talk about me. I'm not that great. But cool. Hi y'all. How y'all doing? So this is the third time I've been with EWB. I think I have three more times after this, at least, maybe more. We'll see if they want me more. But cool. So today we're looking at ESL games and activities, active, fun, and productive. And once again, my name is Mitchell. I'll do a little bit upgraded bio about myself. Okay, so this is I updated this I think this week because I did like just finish one job and I'm gonna be starting another job soon. But yeah, if you guys have WeChat, there's my WeChat. If you use Instagram, there's my Instagram. But whatever, I have my email as well. But yeah, so I'm Mitchell from New Edinburgh, Arkansas, in South the US, down there. I am starting an English language fellowship with the U.S. Department of State's English language program at Hangzhou Normal University, where I'll be mostly coaching sports, but also helping with writing classes and teacher training. So I'll be training teachers, helping graduate students with writing, but also helping prepare coaches, like future coaches, for PE and sports. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, right now I'm doing my doctorate at the University of St. Andrews in TESOL. I still have many years. I think I have 4 or 5 years left. Ugh. And yeah, there's my email. And then I'll show my email again later if anybody wants it and stuff. Today, I will be putting lots of materials in the group chat on Zoom and stuff. Hopefully everybody can get it, but there's gonna be a good bit of materials, good bit of PPTs, good bit of Word docs, because I'm pretty much just sharing like here's an activity, here's a game I use with my students. And lots of stuff you can use at university level, you can use at kindergarten. I've done the same game for kindergarten and university and teachers. It's totally fine, just depends on the material. But yeah, so today we're doing lots of stuff with games. So let's check out our outline for today. So first we're going to identify the advantages, disadvantages of games, just to try and get a little bit of chat going and hopefully get folks active in the chat group, in the chat box. And then we're going to have a look at different games and activities. Now, this is where if we were in person, like hopefully we will be later this year at the conference, we'll be doing lots of games and activities, like lots of just playing the whole class, and then talking about how can we change the game for our students. But we're online today, so pretty much I'm just gonna like introduce different games, activities that I use, and like have the step-by-step instructions and breakdowns of how you guys can do them yourself. Tons of stuff. And then we're gonna wrap up with final thoughts, and that's it. Pretty much the most of it's just sharing games and activities. Cool. But let's start off in the group chat. In the chat box, or if you guys want to turn on your mic and talk, we can chat for a bit. That'd be great. Or it's not just me talking to the camera. In the chat box, or you guys turn on your mic. What are the advantages, disadvantages of games in English classes? So what's some good things, what's some bad things? Let's use the chat box for like 2 minutes, or you guys can turn on your mic. I'm pulling up the chat box now. I see somebody say good day. So what are some strengths and weaknesses of using games in English class? What are some good things and bad things? What do y'all think? I'm not playing on my phone. I'm setting my timer for 2 minutes. I'm always on my phone, either with music or background music or setting timers in class. What
Hi,
do you
can
get?
I? Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, I am uh I am Zebo.
Hi, Zebo.
I would like to say the advantages and disadvantages using the game. That game makes learning fun. It,
Yeah, totally.
it keeps students interested and it make an active learning environment.
Yeah,
And the students can use the real language in a very meaningful situation, like asking question, giving answers and using the vocabulary they use reinforced vocabulary they have used at the lesson. It's also encourage the communication. Games require, of course, requires the active listening. The students have to listen, which is very how to say problem. The students are so eager to play the game immediately they do not listen the instruction. So anyway, the
right.
games helps students to practice fluency and communications. They will learn how to communicate with each other. And also it reduces shyness. When the reluctant students are shy to speak, when they see that other students and the teacher are very energetic, they are speaking, they will feel that they want to join them too. They will feel to participate in the game as well. So it reduces anxiety. So the shyness, anxiousness of the learners, and that makes the learning environment very comfortable, I think. The games, using the games, and also improve the memory. There are also vocabulary memory games activities that will can the students can repeat the games. Also, it will improve the, I think, the memory. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Ziva.
You're
I think
welcome.
that's the first time I've done one of these and somebody's actually talked to me, or at least in a long time. Thank you, Ziva. Awesome. I'm looking
You're
at what other
welcome.
folks have said. So we
Mm.
have, everybody's involved despite different levels, boost motivation, makes them interested, makes them, curious, motivated, pros, funds, engaging, fun. When then we have a little bit of a downer about, it's a little bit noisy. Yeah, it is. It can be, especially depends on what level you're working on. Sometimes even university classes are noisy. Involved despite different levels, students paying attention. Ah, yes, it can take time, especially take time to set it up. It can be noisy. It takes time to introduce the rules, especially if you want to do it all in English. And maybe you have students who are at a low level, or maybe you're working with like little kids. Yeah, yeah. It can be stressful. It can be. Cool. Nice. I love all the participation. Okay, great. Let's see some of the ideas that I have and stuff. So these are some of the advantages of games that, I've picked up that I've kind of considered over the last couple of years. I've been teaching in China for 10 years now. But I've been teaching in general for like 12 years, I think. But here's some things, it's a great deal of effort. Games are like, a reward. So you play a game in the class as a reward for being good, for being a good class. It can provide, practice for the different skills. There's games for listening, games for speaking, games for reading, writing, critical thinking, teamwork, or a mix of those. Brings variety in the class. It changes up the pace, changes up the pattern of interaction. And, there's different intelligence, there's different moods. If class is kind of boring or they're getting kind of low energy, play a game to boost that up. Encourages kids to interact and communicate, what Zebo was talking about, and can create a meaningful context of the language, like actually having a purpose to use the language beyond, just repeating stuff from a book. Like, there's a task, there's a gap or something like that you have to use. Motivating, challenging, and really it's just fun, just fun. Everybody wants to have fun. I've taught 2 and 3-year-olds, and I've taught people who are in their 60s. Everybody wants to have some fun. Cool. All right, disadvantages of games. Why some people don't like doing games. I still see comments coming in. The comments are throwing me off. Cool. All right. Now, one thing that came up a lot with me teaching when I first started teaching in China was, are we actually practicing English? Or is it just like a way of killing time? Or is it just a game, but not a game with a purpose? Um, there's a thing where in China where lots of foreign teachers are pretty much called clowns because just they just play games and there's not really a purpose for it. It's just you want to play a game, but like no, we need like a purpose to it too. Some students don't want to be babied. You can have this especially maybe middle school age, maybe high school age where the kids think they're too cool. Maybe like I think sixth grade is quite bad in China because the kids are about to leave elementary school and really they can stop school after sixth grade in China. So they think they're too cool for games. Some kids might just want to play games and not learn. They're here for fun, here for a game, not to learn, not to practice. So that's kind of a downer. It can take a lot of time to set up, to explain, to play, etc. It can be just a way of killing time. Some teachers will just play games just to waste time. And the kids don't care. Well, especially teaching little kids, they don't care because a game's a game. Um, but yeah, so trying to work on that with students. See somebody else talk about time, especially when you have short classes. Yeah. hard to manage. Like, so when I started teaching in China, I was teaching in public school, elementary public schools, like third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. And there's like 60 students in the class. It can be chaos. So that's kind of like where some people don't want to try games. But then the thing is, like, there are games, you have to try the right games for your classroom, for your class size. So there's some games here that are for bigger classes. I'll show you guys later. Then there's this idea where English time is playtime. This is quite bad in some places in China. And then I had to try to train teachers not to just play games. Like you actually have to make it productive and actually teach and then have a game, stuff like that. All right, anyway, cool. So for pretty much for the rest of the about hour, I'm going to show different kinds of games. Y'all plug in questions in the group chat and stuff. If you have questions and stuff about any of these, there's a lot, and I'm gonna be sharing lots of materials. Hopefully, you guys can download them. I tested it earlier; it seemed like it worked. We'll see, but cool. All right, so let's look at some games. First one, or some activities. So there are games and activities. The first one I use is called unscrambling a text. Now, this is kind of like a reading task. So I've used this for like elementary level students, and I've used this for university students. You can just adapt to what you're doing. Pretty much you want to divide the class into teams, maybe by the rows. If you have rows, maybe 5 people per group, maybe by sections, like front 5 students, back 5 students, however you want to do that. Maybe four, five, 6 students per team. I think five. I like doing stuff by fives. Each group gets a text. So it's the same text. It can be a story, it can be a paragraph. Like and so like if I teach at university, I would do with a paragraph, like an academic essay paragraph. And I would cut out the sentences. So the sentences have been cut into pieces and they must rearrange the text. They have to figure out which sentence comes first, which sentence comes second, which sentence comes third. First group to rearrange it correctly wins. Um, One thing, oh yeah, so if we're in a group, I would give you guys 2 minutes to do this. But I do this a lot with the story of the Lion and the Mouse, because everybody knows the Lion and the Mouse. Let me share in the group chat what this looks like. Where's the Lion and the Mouse? There we go. So I'm putting that into the group chat now. But nope, wrong one. That's King Midas. We'll do that later. I like Greek stories for some reason because Greek stories most people know. All right, so pretty much it's like this. So these are the sentences for the Lion and the Mouse, and I have them out of order. So they all have a letter, and I pretty much cut them across like this and scramble them up and give them to people, and they have to put them in the right order. And then the idea is like you have them kind of read it and try to understand it. Like he don't know who he is, so he's gonna be somewhere later in the story. But yeah, and they're all mixed up. Um, oh, actually, this is the correct order. Aha. But then they're all mixed up like this. So I give it to them like this, and it's all cut up. And then this is the correct order of how it's supposed to be. And then they have to match it like that. So that's how it looks. Great. And then have them together. Okay, which one's first, which one's second? So it goes K, H, all the way down to J. So that's the order they're in. And I don't put them in ABC order. That's too easy. And also when I do it, I usually will cut like here under the A and also above the B, so that way people don't try to put them together like a puzzle. Because then that's not testing your English, that's just testing your ability to solve a puzzle. Not the same. All right, cool. Next thing we're gonna look at is a jigsaw reading. Now, jigsaws are notoriously hard to do. You hear lots of people tell you to try jigsaw readings. Have you actually tried to do one with students? It's horrible. It is so hard to do a jigsaw. I think I've kind of figured it out. This little picture has helped. All right, divide the class into teams. These are the teams. Okay. Maybe by rows, maybe by sections, 4, 5, 6 students per team. like here. So these four people together are a team. Each member from a group is assigned a different part of a text: yellow, green, red, blue. Or you can do paragraph A, paragraph B, paragraph C. Okay. They must read the part of the text and go back to the group and share what it is about. Now, usually I have like the different paragraphs on the wall. Like over here, I'll have paragraph A, over here, paragraph B, over here, C, over here, D. And they are not close to each other. They are all spread out. Um, Students can only read their part of the text. You have to watch them for that because some people want to read all of it. They work together to complete a task. Now, one thing I think that makes it difficult is people ask to do a jigsaw reading, but they don't give the students a task. Like, don't give them questions to try to answer. Um, First group done wins. I've done this with teachers, and it's very funny because the teachers will want to take pictures. All the teachers, all four teachers will want to take a picture. Like I take a picture of A, you take a picture of B, picture of C, and they come back with all their pictures. I'm like, no, that's not the point. You wouldn't let your students do that. So I had to tell teachers not to take pictures. You have to act like we're actually really students doing this. Okay? And then I have teachers do this for about 3 minutes. Now, for this one, we do it with King Midas and the Golden Touch, which everybody kind of knows a story about King Midas and the Golden Touch. I give them the first paragraph. Here's the first paragraph of the story that I've adapted. And let's look at what the rest of it looks like. Now, before they get started, let me close the line in the mouse. Before they get started, they have this task of 10 questions, mostly multiple choice. So they're able to look at the questions in their group. They cannot take the questions with them when they go read. They have to leave these at their table. Um, and then each person goes and reads a different paragraph. So there's one that we shared as a group. Somebody has this one. Let's say this is green. Let's say this is a blue. Let's make this red. And this one can be yellow. And then, yeah, so the yellow can read yellow. They can't read any other color, stuff like that. Cool. And then this one I kind of gave them as a first, like we did that one as everybody can read that one. And then they have to go read this and then come back to their team and talk about these questions. Now, some of them are actually really, really good because you have to work together about what happened in one paragraph, what happened in the next paragraph. Here, like this question here, where did he go after he left the feast? Now, in it doesn't tell you exactly what happened. Because they're in different paragraphs. So he walks silently to the rose garden. In the earlier paragraph, it talks about he went to a feast. And then it says here that he walked to a rose garden. So these two people have to work together to figure out where did he go. So it's not like I have number one, you have number two. It's like we actually have to work together. So that's quite interesting and fun. Yeah, give me a moment. Sorry. That is this one. Oh, it can't be sent because it's open. Hold on. Here. Don't save. Give me a minute. Who was that? Isn't Zebo? Sorry, Zebo. All right, cool. And that's been sent. Awesome. And remind me later, I'll send you guys this PPT as well. But yeah, so then we look at the questions and then I have the answers pop up. Animations are really cool. I love the little animations that I can make on PPT and stuff. And then blah blah blah. Number nine is a little bit of an open question, but yeah, all up to you. Okay, cool. Now these are more, so those are kind of some reading games. These ones, next ones that we're going to talk about are more about vocabulary and stuff. A board race is really fun and easy. Pretty much divide the class into teams, maybe four, five, six. I like five, but maybe by the rows, like row one, row two, row three. So it can be like a relay race. That's quite nice. You give a topic like animals, and then the students come up for their teams, like team one, team two, team three, and they write as many animals as they can think of. They take turns running. It's like a relay to the board. Write a word that fits the topic. This works well for classes that are quite big. Maybe you have like 10 students in like 5 or 4 rows. I'm thinking about how I used to teach public school in China, and that's how it was. The seats are in straight rows, and then it's just a relay going back and forth. And like, you pass the marker to your next partner. And then you can judge however you want. You can just if it's the right topic. You can give them a point based on if how complex it is, on spelling, whatever. You're the teacher. You get to give the points however you want. I usually just do it based on do you like did you get it right or whatever. Like if I think I have one here, yeah, I do have team with the most points wins. Like one topic I did was countries, and people go up to the board and write America. I'm like, haha, America is not a country. It's 2 continents, North America, South America. You mean the USA for the country. And so that doesn't count. Or people just write Korea. Like Korea is not a country. There's North Korea, South Korea. I do that. I miss that. I do that to mess with teachers in China and stuff. It's fun. Okay, great. Something kind of similar is called a hot seat or back to the board. Once again, divide the class into teams, maybe four, made by the rows or sections in class. Member of each team comes up to the front of the class. They sit with their back to the board. So the PPT is behind them. You show a word on the PPT or you write a word on the board, and the members of their teams give them clues about the word that's on the board. They cannot say the word, they cannot act it out. Um, Once a word is guessed, the guessing team gains a point, and you keep going for however long you want to go. It's kind of like taboo. If you guys know what taboo is, you want to describe a word without saying the word. New members, and then after each game, each time, new members come up, you switch members. Cool. Uh, so like here's some examples. So like let's say pineapple. So you would say like a fruit is yellow. It's SpongeBob. And like, oh, okay, cool, pineapple. Like that. What else is there? Ocean. Now this is where like some people will go like this, and like I don't. That's disqualified because you can't act it out. So you have to describe it. Like the sea. Water, big water. What else? Passport. Use it to travel abroad. Stuff like that. So yeah. Kind of things like that. All right, now we're gonna look at some games now that are for more like maybe you have a very, very big class of like 60 students. So you can't do lots of running around. So you kind of have to just do maybe PPT games. So these are some PPT games. This one's called Match and Find. I don't know where I found this. I've had this for like since I came to China 10 years ago, but it's quite cool. I'll share the template in a little bit. But pretty much you would put pictures and words. It's a matching game. It's match and find. So here's one with cute little animals, the tiger, the hippo, blah blah, and you want to cover it all up. And then you ask, teams or students to pick 2 letters. Like I don't know, 1 and 8. Nope. And then the next team tries. Okay, let's go 9. Where was the bear? Hey, cool. I got a point. That's it. And the next team tries. Okay, Fox. Was Fox there? Nope. Like that. Yeah. Now, if you guys don't know how to work PPT, here, let me throw this in the chat. Match and find is there. Here we go. Now, some folks are not sure how to work like PPT stuff, like how to manage this. What you do is like you could like take that, delete that one, paste whatever you want to put it there, and then you picture format, send to the back, and now it's going to be covered up. And that's like kind of how you make the PBT work and change up your pictures and stuff. One way to do it. Okay, cool. Now there's also Jeopardy, a nice little Jeopardy game. I have that as well. Nice little PPT for that. Lots of people like it and stuff. Put that in the group chat for y'all. We can have a look at it. But yeah, it has some cute little music and stuff. Ah, music stuff. But yeah, and then you can change these up. You can edit these however you want. I did this for like a group of second graders. Animals, my room, bathroom. Look at the blank. It's blank and blank. I don't know. Just look at the bear. It's big and brown. Stuff like that. You click on him. Go to the next one. There is a blank in my room. There's a bed in my room. We try to make them say full sentences. Yeah, keep working your way down like that. And then here is the questions. You can change the topic, you can change the picture, you can change the sentence frame. And the next slide is where you would do the answer. So just there you go. Okay, so there's how you can edit the pictures, edit the text. All that's cool and fun. Kids like it. All right. Now I also have a Pokemon game and a Doraemon. Doraemon's more, well, they're both Japanese actually. Pokemon's more famous. I absolutely love Pokemon. Me and my daughter were watching Pokemon about before we started this webinar. Okay, great. I'm gonna put those two in the chat. Um, so there's a Doraemon. Here's another Doraemon. I have two of them because I used it before. So one's like for beach for like, no, sixth graders, I think, no, third graders, and one's for first graders. And here is Pokemon, and this Pokemon was made for second graders. Thank you, Zevo. If you like Jeopardy, you're gonna love this Pokemon stuff. I love this Pokemon game. Here. So here's like the rules of how to play it, and different Pokemon worth different points. Team Rocket means you lose points. Mewtwo means you switch points. Haunter does a dream eater, so you steal points. It's you gotta play with it a little bit, and hopefully you know Pokemon. So good. But it has music. Oh, it just brings back all my nostalgia. Trying to skip all that stuff. But very, very, very good. Blah blah blah. Explains the rules. Skip, 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 skip. All right, so the idea is behind each of the Pokeballs, there's a different question. And if you get the question right, you get some points, or you get the chance to catch a Pokemon. If you catch it, you get points for your team. So let's go D. So this one's where I mixed up the letters and make the students like rearrange the letters to make a sentence. So it's bring me a spoon. If you get it right, you get the Pokeball. If you get it wrong, you get the X. And if you get the X, it goes away. And you can't do that one again. So let's try again. So I want, and then there's an egg. So I want an egg as well. And then there's our little Pokemon. Ekans. I think he's worth 2 points. So then this team gets 2 points. And then we go back, and that one goes away. So this is really cute and fun. I love this. I've done this with kindergarten students about shapes and colors. I've done this with the university students to practice speaking about dinosaurs and extinction and global warming. But yeah, so kind of similar with Jeopardy. Here's you go through the slides, and here you see you can change up the sentence like frame, picture, and answer to fill in the blank, or however you want to do it. And then here you shows you what Pokemon you get for what points. I want some dumplings. Now, there are some that you get a couple of different possibilities. So there's some that are like different options, like 3 Pokeballs. Aha. So sometimes you'll have 3 Pokeball and you have to choose one, red, blue, green, or sometimes it's like yellow and purple and like turquoise. Now, behind those, there's a couple options. One is Mewtwo, you switch points. Others are legendary Pokemon. Legendary Pokemon are worth more points, up to 10 points. Haunter and Ghastly. So you steal 3 points from your opponent. There's a rock, paper, scissors with the other team for 5 points. Winner gets 5 points. And then the best one's Team Rocket, which everybody loses all their points. So everybody starts over again at 0. And that's the best one to end class on. Like all teams back to 0. Love it. Okay. Now, the Doraemon is quite similar to the Pokemon in that um, same thing with the ABC. You pick one, there's a question. If you get it right, for him, you get like little pancakes. And like you get one pancake, two pancakes, stuff like that. And then he has his little power-ups. Like you get to choose which superhero you want, and you either change points, steal points, get lots of points, or like all points are gone, burn all the points. Yeah. So, and I've done that for, university students and kindergarten. And yeah, it's quite fun and quite cute. Okay, great. What else do we have? These are my favorite. That's Pokemon's my fave. All right. A couple other games. Because I see that, we have like 20 minutes left before we start, doing questions and stuff. This one's called Constantinople. I have no idea where I found it. I think I saw it somewhere online or some book. But pretty much with Constantinople is you divide the class into teams, maybe row sections. You write Constantinople vertically on the board. So you write it down. And the idea is that you have students stand up. You can make it like a relay. First student in line goes on each team, races up the board and writes a letter that starts with C. So everybody writes a word that starts with C. Cat, cactus, cantaloupe, Canada, whatever. Then they go back like a relay, hand off to the next person. Then the next person writes over the word that starts with O, octopus or orange. So like, and you continue doing that until you're E. And first team to sit down after finishing wins. You can judge based on longer words, using the same word twice, spelling, anything you want. Um, I've done this with university students about like stuff that we've been learning in class and see how they're. I'm just looking back through the comments. Cool. So that was quite nice. Oh, a never-ending story. So you want to try something with writing. A never-ending story is fun. Pretty much divide the class in teams again, whatever you want to do, maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 by the rows. A student in each group writes one word. Either you can choose either one word or a sentence on a piece of paper. And then they pass it to another student who writes the next word or sentence. And then you keep doing that until all the students have written a word or a sentence. And then you have the students read the stories and talk about, which one's the best, which one's the funniest, stuff like that. That'd be kind of fun to try. All right, now we're into getting into kind of like the games like Taboo, Pictionary, charades, that kind of stuff. Pictionary, if you have little kids, once again, divide them up. A member from each team comes to the board, draws a picture of a word that you tell them or give them. Like I'll send this in the group, but I have little cutouts of words that you can cut out. Members of teams try to guess the word. The drawer cannot say nothing. You just have to draw. You cannot write. You can draw, a camel, a hat, a bunny, mountains. Once the word is guessed, guess the team gets a point, and then you switch members. Similar with charades. I think we know what charades are. Same thing, but this time you give them a word, they act it out, like a monkey or a fish or I don't know, whatever you want. Jump, swim. It's quite fun with little kids, for the babies. Taboo. So you remember hot seat? That's kind of like what taboo is. But taboo is like, yeah, it's pretty much the same as this. But taboo is like one person tries to help their team guess the word. Hot seat's the other way around, where the team tries to help one person guess the word. Once again, divide up. Each member of the team gets a word. They give clues about the word to their team. They cannot say the word, cannot act it out. And then you get a point. Cool. Heads up. This one's quite fun for little kids. You just put the word on their head and they try to ask questions about it. Am I an animal? Am I a person? And it's yes, it's supposed to be yes, no. So am I a person? Yes. Am I a boy or a girl? Yes. Stuff like that. Okay, let me send those things now that I have. Hold up. Where are they? Oh, here you go. So these are I call these game word cards. It's pretty much just list of it's pretty much just I think it's just animals, fruit, things like that, just random stuff. So these are things that I would do, and then what I do is I cut these out, and then I use these for charades, or I use these for the heads up, or I use them for taboo, because you can use them all for all those little games, like a different game a day if you're doing like a day of transportation or something like that, or jobs and stuff. And then one day you can do charades, one day you can do taboo, one day you can do, the Pictionary. Yeah. Okay, great. Skip. All right. This one's called Hidden Picture. I made this whenever I was teaching primary school in China 10 years ago. Pretty much behind these boxes, there's a picture, and and you do like one little box at a time, and then the kids try to guess what is it in English, of course. It's fun with like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Like, what is it? And they're like, watermelon. Yay, good job. And then try and make a sentence. It's a watermelon. Yeah. And then same thing, like what we looked at earlier about how to change the picture. You just move that out of the way. Oops, probably too far, eh? Move this a little bit. There's my picture of the watermelon. Take it away, put your other picture. If you guys know how to do the your selection frame, go for that. But cool. All right, here's another little game I made when I started teaching primary school 10 years ago, whatever. It's called What's Missing. And then the idea is like I hope the kids will say the blank is missing. So like, what's missing? The apple is missing. All right, good. What's missing? The pear is missing. What's missing? The banana is missing. And the kids like all the cute faces and cartoons. So yeah, the watermelon is missing, the orange is missing, and oh, the grapes are missing. See if the kids catch on to that. But cool. All right. Now let me wrap up and then close the PPT, and then I'll be able to share the PPT in the group chat. But cool, here's a little bit of a final word. We got like 17 minutes. Cool. So games can make classes more fun and interesting, while also encouraging students to use English and or work together. I really want, we want communicative teaching, but also communicative pretty much means collaborative learning and collaborating. So try and get them to work together to do stuff. It's quite fun. But they can also not be useful if you're not used well. Um, you know, if you don't plan it right, if you don't have it for the right level, for the right material, for the right group of students, it can be a mess. Different games serve different purposes. Some are more for review, some are more for practice, and then some are just for fun or for, you have 5 more minutes. Let's do something cool. Let's do something active. So, different games for different things. So think about the games that our students may like, okay? And then try out the games ourselves. So try to pretend that you're one of the students doing the game. This is why I like to do these kind of things with actual teachers, like try and make the teachers be the students. So try out the games yourself to make sure that you know how the student would do it. And we want to identify any kind of issues that might happen. So like, oh, this would be a really fun game, but I don't think I'd be able to do it very well with my students because they're too crazy, or they would think that it might be too baby for them. And then think about how you change that. And also get feedback from students about the games. Ask them, did they like it or not, and stuff. And so, of course, some students don't like nothing, so you can't always listen to those guys who don't like anything. But some students will tell you, hey, maybe this one can be changed a little bit. We can try this next time. Get feedback from your students. If there's no energy, then maybe try a different game next time. Okay, cool. Here are some useful resources. A lot of those came from eslcafe.com, which is a place people look for jobs, like foreigners will look for jobs to teach abroad. There's some games there. I hope that link still works. It's been a while since I used it. And also, here's a nice book, 700 Classroom Activities. That's a really nice book, actually. Let me put this link in the group chat. Uh, Hopefully it works. It's been a while since I tried it, but that's where some of these games came from, were from that website. And some of the games came from this book because there's games about, conversations, about functions, grammar, vocab, and everything, all kinds of stuff. Really nice. Okay, great. And I think now I'll open it up to questions and stuff. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell.
Oh,
It
no,
was
thank you. Thank you.
really, yeah, interesting and informative, and I hope that, yeah, teachers, participants were able to expand their teaching activities, and particularly, the link that you shared, will be, yeah, greatly useful to many
Oh, cool. It
teachers.
works. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I was wondering if it worked. All right, cool. Let me put in today's PPT in the group chat as well. So then the PPT from today has all the breakdown in terms of instructions and stuff like that. Hopefully that's useful for y'all.
Okay,
Okay, so
let's open the floor to questions and answers. So, dear all, you are welcome to ask your questions. We see a couple of questions in the chat box, but you can also unmute yourself and ask your questions. All those who are watching us on Facebook, you can also put your questions on comment in the comment box. So we'll yeah, pass them to our speaker. All right. So the first question coming from Natya from Georgia. She's asking, um, games have goals, right? And some language or grammar or whatever learning focus. Do you give feedback, and how do you do that?
okay, yeah. So about feedback. So usually what I do, so even with the games like we saw with the board race with like you go and write the words on the board, or the students like in the Pokemon game where they're supposed to answer a question. Sometimes this can be grammatically right or wrong. What I do is I let them finish their turn. So like with the board race, I let everybody finish the race and then we look at answers together as a class. And then by that time, nobody remembers who wrote what except for what you wrote yourself. So then it's like I'm not calling anybody out for being wrong. Now with the grammar, with the Pokemon stuff, well, then we kind of have to like talk about, this one can be like, no, you didn't get it quite right. Would somebody else in your group like to try? And then they have their somebody like lean on the group mate for help and stuff. So yeah, try to give some feedback, but you don't want to interrupt the flow of the game, especially if it's like one of the relay race ones. You want to play the game out. What I do is like I try to remember. So if it's the board race, you have it on the board so you can see it. But what I do sometimes is I will have like a little notebook and I will note down stuff like if they're speaking, like if they didn't want to speaking games or speaking activities. I would note down like some issues and then talk about it later after the game. For like the unscrambling the text or for the King Midas one where they're doing the reading and stuff, then you can kind of point out like, this one's not right, this one's not right. Kind of give little hints about like you two need to work together. Like what happened first, then what happened, and then try to answer that one tricky question. That kind of helps out in terms of giving feedback. So yeah, because it's not just about playing games. It's like to practice the language, and then so you do need to give some feedback about how to make themselves a little bit better in next time. Cool. Hope that
Okay,
answered
thank
it.
you. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you so
cool.
much.
Thanks.
Mhm. So, what are the do's and don'ts when using ESL games in the classroom from your own
Oh boy,
experience?
do's and don'ts. So do. Uh, Let's talk about what not to do. Don't just use a game, just use a game. Think about how it could be productive for your students and what they will be practicing. Don't play a game, just play a game. But you want to play a game to practice something, to review something. And then you want to try to make it appropriate for your students' level, age,
Mhm.
attention, your classroom setup. Like I have some game where like students sit in a circle and then they play like in a circle and run around and stuff. You can't do that if you're in the class with 60 students, you know. So for if you have big classrooms, then you do more of the PPT games that we saw, like the Pokemon. Maybe you can do more of the relay races. Um, the kind of jigsaw reading might be a trouble in a group of 60. You can try, but yeah. So definitely think about your class dynamics and your students' level, their age, their interests, all that stuff. I think
All right.
that's good.
Yep. Okay, thank you. So more questions are coming.
Oh,
Zibo is
absolutely.
asking, how do you make your students, including shy ones? Yeah. So including shy
Yeah,
ones,
the
just
shy
a
ones
moment.
participating in
Yes. Yeah,
game-based activities.
exactly.
Yeah, that one. Cool. I see Zebos. Cool. So, usually what I do is like I'll put, so usually one thing that helps is putting students in teams, right? And usually, I'm fine with them being in teams with their friends. So that will help the ones who are shy and stuff. And then let other kids try first. So then the other kids will try first, and then later on, the shy student might think, okay, it's safe to talk. I know the answer. Maybe give them something easy first, so they don't feel like it's a risk to answer. Um, Maybe give them an easy one. Let other students go first. Put them in groups with their friends. Um, and then really, you want to see them try to run around and play first, and then once they get feeling that kind of fun, then maybe they'll start talking more. Ziva, does that sound okay?
Yes, yes. I
Cool, man.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank, yeah, thank
Cool.
you. Thank you,
Hey,
Zibo, and
Zivo.
thank you, Mitchell. So Nate is asking next question. Can games be used as an assessment task?
Ooh, I reckon you probably could, but then, what you could maybe do is have it set up like a task-based assessment, or maybe something like, yeah, something like a task, like, task-based learning. You can set up as a task, like they have to answer the questions in their team, like doing the King Midas, the jigsaw reading. Pretty much how would that be different than give them like that as a worksheet? You just give them the worksheet, you read the paragraphs, you answer the questions. But then, okay, you guys can answer questions as a group. But instead, like you have to separate the paragraphs. You get this paragraph, you get this paragraph, you get that paragraph. So there's you a gap-filled task um kind of activity. So then that could be, you can use that as a assessment if you would like to. I would like to use it more as formative instead of summative because I'm very big on summative being like for a grade and like for a game for a grade, maybe, but I don't know. It's mostly I like using the games more for practice and for practicing for fun, for maybe formative assessment to see if they're making good progress and stuff. But summative assessment, maybe not. You can try though, see how it goes. It'd be a cool thing to research, actually.
Okay,
That's
thank
a
you.
nice question.
Yes, we have also more questions. So
Yeah.
Rayhon is asking, can the games that you presented today be used for adult learners?
Oh yeah, totally. I use these. I use the Pokemon game for university students to
Mm,
practice. Like if they have a speaking test, and the speaking test is about stuff that we've read this semester about. I don't know. I've taught at one university where the students were taught about history and pollution and dinosaur extinction, all that kind of general academic stuff. And so then the Pokemon game would be like, here's a discussion topic. You have to talk about it. Like, what is one reason why there is global warming? What's one cause of global warming? You have to talk about it for 1 minute. Go.
mm,
And if you're unable to do it, you don't get the point. You don't get the Pokemon.
yeah,
So yeah.
okay.
So I've done that. Also
Yes,
with vocabulary, I've done hot seat for university students for vocabulary. The hot seat where you have the word on the board and your team describes it for you about describe like what is extinction, what is, a topic sentence, stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, sounds very interesting. Okay, Zebo is asking the next question. Which game do you always recommend to novice teachers to help them get to know their class and build a strong classroom community at the start of the academic year, and why?
Oh,
Maybe just, for icebreaker.
I have a whole nother PPT for icebreakers, but I have so many icebreakers. So let me look back through the games that we had. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna mess up my icebreakers. Oh, the one I sent you guys in the group chat to just now was a different PPT. Oops. That's the wrong PPT from the day. Sorry. Let me fix that. Because what I sent you guys was the original kind of version of this. Yep, sorry. Here's the PPT from the day. I'm trying to see if I have my icebreaker PPT. I might. But I have tons of little icebreakers somewhere. I don't know if I have their.
And Mr. Mitchell, can you say just one activity, one game that you do when you meet a new class, getting to know each other, just from your experience, one that you come a new academic year, you have a new class, and what is your favorite one from your tools, from your teachers' tools? What getting to know, how you would do that to know the class?
The students.
Getting to know.
Crap. Here, I do. There's this one game that I thought about talking about today. I decided not to because it's quite hard. It's very funny. It's called Do You Love Your Neighbor? And what you do is you have all the students sit in a circle. So they sit in a circle. So let's say you have 30 students. You have well, maybe 20 or 15. You have all of them sit in a circle. Okay. One person does not have a seat. Usually I start off, so I don't have a seat. Now I want a seat, and the way I get a seat is I have to say something about myself that's true. It can be anything. I'm a boy. I have a black shirt. I have brown hair. I have a beard. I wear glasses. Now the thing is, if it's the same for anybody sitting down, they have to get up and find a different chair. And while they're moving around, I try to sit down. And then whoever's left without a chair has to be in the middle this time. Um, and then, of course, if it's not for you, like if I say I'm a boy, you would say sitting.
Mhm.
Um, so then you don't have to go. So this is very fun in where I'm in China because I'll be like, oh, I speak Chinese. And of course, everybody speaks Chinese. So it's total chaos. Everybody's moving around. And I try to sit down real quick. Or you look at somebody specific. Like if there's another guy from the US there, like another teacher from America who's in there, I'll say, oh, I'm from the US. So then he has to get up and it's just him. So then me, him switch. So like I attack somebody directly. So that one's quite fun. Now, the whole thing about getting them a circle means you have to have room in your classroom to make a circle, which me doing that in elementary school in China, public school, is not going to work. But I can do that at my university. I can do that when I do teacher training at the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. I've done it there. So that one's quite fun. And then that gets it and then you can also get stuff like, I like to read, or I like to skateboard, or I like to surf. And then you have the kids meet up with their interests. Like, I like Motionless in White, which is kind of like a metal band. Oh, cool. I like them too. Or, I like Kendrick. Oh, cool. I like Kendrick too. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Moving activity, yes.
Yeah, Nadia put a nice one in the group chat. Cool. Yeah. So I shared the PPT from today. It has my email, it has my contacts if you guys have any questions and stuff. But cool. Today was very
Thank
interactive. Really,
Yes.
really cool.
I think the teachers love using games themselves also, yes, to make
Yeah, no,
their
I do too.
classrooms, yeah, to make
Yeah,
their
I like them. I
classrooms
like them a
more
lot.
active, more engaged. Okay, thank you so much. So let's see if we have more questions left.
Okay, cool.
So your
Some people
favorite
says they're on
grammar
vacation.
game, your
Oh,
favorite
favorite grammar
grammar
game.
game or
Oh,
any to
okay, cool.
encourage practical use in real life situation.
Oh
Natalie's
boy.
asking.
I hate grammar because I'm a native speaker, so my grammar's horrible. Okay, great. The Pokemon game would be quite interesting because it's just a fill in the blank. So that one would be quite fun. There's also like if you look at that website or you look at that book that I shared, there's lots of little grammar games. There's like a kind of like a tic-tac-toe or a little like a word crossword kind of thing with grammar and stuff. Um, some people make like some kind of Monopoly game with grammar. Um, those are all okay, but I like the Pokemon game. That's just me. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sadbark is asking, I think this is the last question. What resources do you look for finding games?
Oh dear. What was that one?
Yeah, what resources do you often use to find games?
Okay, yeah, cool. So a lot of what I shared today came from that website. So you just ask, just Google like games. I saw somebody say something about the passive voice. Just Google, games for or ESL games to practice the passive voice, grammar, stuff like that. Nowadays, you can ask AI and see what AI gives you. You can ask GPT and see what GPT gives you. I have not done that, but give that a go. That little book that I talked about earlier that I'm pretty sure you can find online now, is great. All right, Aziz Zebo is having trouble with the downloading the Pokemon
Mhm.
Doraemon.
Yes,
Zebo, find my email and email me, and I'll get in touch with you. Here, let me put my email in the group chat.
okay.
But my email is in the PPT as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
y'all
and
just email me if you
I,
want anything.
yeah, I think just, because your files have, are saved in a different, in different platform. I think
Oh,
not everybody were able to download them.
oh, yeah, because I'm in China, so it makes everything WPS automatically, which is WPS is like Chinese version of Microsoft
Okay,
Word.
yeah, yeah.
Just try. But yeah, if y'all want anything, y'all just email me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe you will send them to us via email. So we'll be just, sharing it in our Telegram group where we have over one, almost
Okay, cool.
2K
Y'all can do like your
teachers.
in like WhatsApp group or something. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you guys so
So,
much.
yeah, it was really interesting, and we couldn't just, notice how the time flies so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, dear all. And
No, thank
thank
y'all.
you, Mr. Mitchell, for doing another webinar with us. And we'll be having more. So please stay alert about more webinars with Mr. Mitchell, and we'll be delighted to, yes, to see you again. And dear all, thank you so much for your active participation and engagement. And I bet you are great professionals, teacher trainers, and teachers who are making changes through different practical approaches and tools in making your ESL classes really engaging and inspirational for your students. And it's also vacation time. Hope you are enjoying your vacation time and also investing your time into your professional development. And using this moment, we would like to wish Happy Independence Day to
Oh
all,
yeah, thanks.
to all those who are coming and who are living in the US or who are from the US. Yeah, enjoy your time. And once again, thank you, dear all. Thank you so much, and look forward to see you again in our next webinar next week. So save the time, 6 p.m. Thursday, to invest your time into your professional development. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow at the English Without Borders Speaking Club. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.